Bodybuilding is all about what ifs. What if Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't exist? Who would have been the Olympia champion from 1970 to 1975? Well, today we are going to do an entire hypothetical video. What if none of the Mr. Olympia champions existed? Or what if they, never got into bodybuilding to begin with? Who would have been the Mr. Olympia champion from 1965 to today, 2021, or the last Mr. Olympia champion? Well, let us go back to 1965 when it all began. Harold Poole, he would have been Mr. Olympia champion because he placed second to Larry Scott. In my opinion, he was just as good, but that's debatable. I also think Harold Poole would have maintained the Olympia title 1966. He even would have defeated Larry Scott's record, which didn't exist in this alternate universe. Harold Poole, three-time Mr. Olympia champion, 65 to 67. Now in 68, keep in mind, there's no Sergio Oliva. I think Dave Draper would have took the title in 68. Dave Draper, one of my favorite bodybuilders. Classic physique, just incredible. And without Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think he would have been really what the public wanted to see. This big California-style blonde bomber. 69, he would have been the champion. 70, he would have been the best Mr. Olympia from 1970. 71, he would have maintained that title. Until 1972, where this guy here, he would have defeated Dave Draper. Of course, Dave still would have been at the top of his game with the absence of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sergio Oliva, and without those two guys, Serge Nubret. This physique would have been the greatest physique that the bodybuilding world had ever seen. 73, 74, all the way to 1975, Serge Nubret would have been Olympia champion. Of course, he placed second there to Arnold, so that's an easy one to bet on. But where was Lou Ferrigno in this situation? Well, without Arnold, I honestly don't think Lou would have even got into bodybuilding. So he's written right off this storyline, just like all of the other Olympia champions. So I guess Serge would have retired in 75, as he was, approaching 40, or he was 40. 1976, Ken Waller, are you kidding me? Well, there was no Franco Columbo, no Frank Zane, no things of that nature. So I guess Kenny Waller, the t-shirt thief himself, would have been the 76 champion. 1977 would have been the year of Robbie Robinson, my favorite bodybuilder of all time. And in this alternate universe, he would have been a four-time Mr. Olympia champion, 4 titles in a row, 77, 78, 79, and 1980. So why did he lose the title in 81? Because Tom Platz was the greatest physique that the bodybuilding world had ever seen. Look at that, guys. He would have looked like that in this alternate universe. He would have defeated Robbie. But he still would have tore that bicep like he did in real life. And Robbie would have been the first bodybuilder to lose the title and get it back. Danny Padilla would have been in the mix there too, but I don't think he ever would have won the title. And of course, no Samir Banu. 83, Robbie, he gets the title again. So Robbie becomes the first ever 6-time Mr. Olympia champion. Of course, I come up with that. 1984, the year of Bob Paris. Now, this is definitely debatable. Bob Paris, where was he placing in 84? I think that he was way down in 7th place. But there was no Lee Haney, keep in mind. There was no Samir Banu, keep in mind. So that bumps him up to what, 5th? I just think that this is what the bodybuilding world needed at this time. Of course, Frank Zane had this type of physique in the 70s. So I honestly think the bodybuilding world goes down lefts, goes down rights, which way they want, size, aesthetics. And I think Bob Paris would have just nailed it. And there you go, Bobby boy. And hey, he was the first ever gay champion. Of course, Chris Dickerson did that in 82 in real life. So Bob Paris does it in 84. It was bound to happen, guys. Rich Gaspari wins in 1985 with ripped condition like the Dorian Yates of his own world. and there's no Lee Haney, so I guess that's kind of an easy one. But I think in this universe, Rich Gaspari maintains this Olympia title with those strided glutes, 86, 87, and an 88. So I don't think Lee Labrada would have defeated him in this alternate universe. In fact, in 1989, where Lee actually placed ahead of Rich Gaspari, I think he would have lost that year too to Vince Taylor, who got third. I just think the judges are poised to place certain guys second, and I think Lee Labrada would have got second to Vince Taylor. But in 1990, I think it would have been tested, the year of the tested event, even in my alternate universe, and I think Vince maybe would have been disqualified. But either way, I think Lee Labrada would have been the Olympia champion, and fittingly so. For a natural physique, Lee Labrada deserves it. But the juice came rolling back in 1991, and Vince Taylor, in this universe, he would have been even bigger. He would have been huge, and he would have been the Olympia champion 1991. 1992 would have been the battle between Vince Taylor and Kevin Levrone. Levrone, let's face it, guys, without Dorian Yates, this guy would have took the title with ease in 1992. In fact, I even think he would have maintained that type of condition. He wouldn't have tried to get too big. In 93, he would have been better than ever, even defeating the newcomer Flex Wheeler. And in my opinion, he would have kept that title in 94 as well, defeating out Sean Ray. That's right, Sean. I just honestly don't think that he ever would have won the title. He was poised. Like I said, there's some guys, the judges, they look at them and think that's a perfect second place guy. Kevin Levrone, he would have maintained the title. 95, 96, he would have defeated Nasser El-Sanbadi. 97, Kevin's still champion. He wins the title in 1998 as well, becoming a 7-time Mr. Olympia champion. That's the most, right? Well, anyway, 1999, here you go, Flex. I finally give Flex one. I think that it would have been a good little rivalry between these two in my alternate universe. And in 2000, Kevin Levrone gets the title back. After all, it's happened before, right? Anyway, Kevin Levrone holds on to the title one more time, 2001, and he becomes the most ever, he has the most ever titles, 9. That's more than Ronnie Coleman. Anyway, that might be sacrilege, but just for fun, guys. 2002, Gunther Schlierkamp becomes the king of bodybuilding and takes his rightful spot on the throne. 2003, I don't see anybody else touching Gunther. 2004, still the champion. He would have been the biggest money-making thing in bodybuilding. He would have been the Arnold Schwarzenegger. That never happened. So the audience just always wanted that. 2005 would have been Gunther's last year as champion. As a younger guy coming up named Victor Martinez, he takes the title in 2006. And with no Jay Cutler, obviously Victor Martinez looking better than ever before in the real world, and in my world too, he takes the title. Gets one more in 2008 as well. 2009, Branch Warren will not be denied. He defeats everybody, including Victor Martinez and Kai Green, who would have been there. So, Texas Rattlesnake, is that what they call him? Or is that Stone Cold? Anyway, he becomes a 2-time champion in 2010. Until 2011, where he has to lose to the former champion, Victor Martinez, who becomes a 4-time champion. So Victor in this alternate universe, he's quite a big to-do. 2012 rolls around, and the judges have no choice but to give the title to Kai Green. They don't want to, because he did adult films, and that's why they never give him the title, in my opinion. Politics, right? Politics, eh? But either way, Kai Green, very difficult man to defeat. There's no Sean Roden, there's no Dexter the Blade Jackson. He defeats Branch Warren. 2013, he defeats Dennis Wolf. 2014, Kai still maintains that title as he should have in 2014. Maybe. 15, he keeps it. 16, of course, he still looked great, guys. 2017, Kai Green, he wins his final title. And does he retire? I think so. I think Kai Green would have won his last title. What, that would be 6 titles? Then call it a day, retire. And in 2018, this man here would have won the title, and that would have been huge for bodybuilding. Keep in mind, guys, there was no Sean Roden, no Phil Heath, there was not even any Big Ramy, Brandon Curry, things of that nature. So Rolly Winkler, he would have been one of the best of all time. But I think in the alternate universe, the nerves would have got to him just like they did in real life, and he would have only been a one-time champion, relinquishing the title to Hadi Chupin, the Iranian wolf, the Persian wolf. Anyway, thought he was Iranian. He wouldn't have got those shoulders all jimmied up. He wouldn't have needed to, because he won the title in 2019, and Hadi Chupin, dare I say, would be your current and reigning Mr. Olympia champion. He would have won 2020 as well, 2021. Him and Bonac, I guess, would have been battling back and forth for the title, or somebody else they would have had in there. Maybe Nick Walker. Hard to say, but this is just a hypothetical, guys. Jimmy Delbows or not, Hadi Chupin in my world is a 3-time Mr. Olympia champion. And heck, Kevin Levrone, 9-time. He would have been the greatest Mr. Olympia of all time. Hit thumbs up on the video, guys. Just a fun one. Let me know your lists, perhaps, in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Have a great one.